What's going on, guys? Tim Clegg here, and it is time for our recap and review of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 4, Episode 2. Episode 2. Entitled Meet the Director, I believe. Meet the new boss, actually, who is the director. So, great episode. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been solid for 2.5 seasons now, so I didn't expect less. Really enjoyed what they are doing with this season, with the characters. Basically everyone's got a change, and which is something the show has done. Whatever you seem like you're getting bored with the character, the show changes it up. First, the biggest change and first change was with Ward. He was a very, not boring character, but he was a kind of, not one note, but just very bland character. There weren't any secrets or anything like that. That you knew of. You knew what you were getting with Ward. And then, of course, turns out he was Hydra. Definitely like what this season, or what the show has done. And, we got the change with Fitz and Simmons after their ordeal at the end of Season 1. Got the change with Skye, literally to Daisy. And, now we're just getting, more changes are going with the characters. So, getting into this episode and detailing those changes some more. It starts off with the ghost. Not sure if they're ghosts, but starts off with the ghost from Season 1, the female ghost who caused all of the Chinese guys to go crazy and attack each other, and the one who also infected May. She goes back to what seems to be her old home. There's a little boy and his father living there, and she goes around the house. She smashes a family portrait, and they're able to see her, and she runs through the father and causes him to go crazy, and they end up in the emergency room. After that, we see, Coulson and May back at the base. Obviously, they have to meet with the director, as was made clear at the end of the first episode, but apparently he's making them wait. They've been waiting for an hour, which May feels is a power move to show them that they're not in charge anymore. Her and Coulson are just having the talk, and we learned a few things. How May feels that Coulson didn't put up much of a fight to keep his directorship, and we learned that Coulson, he's just fine with it. He's not, he doesn't miss the bureaucracy of being the S.H.I.E.L.D. director anymore, and he basically likes his new position. Even going as far as to say that he feels more at home on Zephyr 1 than he does in the base or in his old office or anything like that. So basically, it seems like the change now is Coulson. The big change, I should say. We're used to seeing him in charge, whether he was director or not. In Season 1, he was in charge of the team. In Season 2, he was the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., along with in Season 3, and now he's just a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent again. I really am enjoying this. So we then see Fitz and Simmons in the lab. They're looking at the box or the container that the ghost came out of, and they're just discussing it, and they're trying to figure out what caused the reaction of the Chinese gang members. And then Fitz, he looks at it a different way. He adjusts the device you're using to look at it, and they see some weird lights and patterns and symbols in the box. Then Mac comes in and he says that it might be a ghost, and he shows a picture that they captured of the ghost standing behind the guy, which happened in the first episode. So we have the meeting between Coulson, May, and the new director, and it wasn't what I was expecting. You know, he definitely seems younger than Phil. Not a bad thing, but just, you know, wasn't what I was picturing. When you look at a S.H.I.E.L.D. director who's taken over from Coulson. So they have a talk, and it doesn't go the way you'd expect it to. He doesn't seem angry or upset about everything. He seems to be very cordial and understanding. This seems to be, you can kind of get the sense that there's more there. And basically, he's trying to preserve the image of S.H.I.E.L.D. because they're about to go public, and he's getting ready for that. And obviously, Skye being a rogue S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, or why do I keep calling her Skye? Daisy being a rogue S.H.I.E.L.D. agent doesn't make them look good. So he tells May that he wants to talk to Coulson one-on-one, and she gets up and she sees his face turning black and into like a skull, and then she leaves. So basically, what he wants to Phil to be like a tour guide. He mentions how Phil knows everything there is to know about S.H.I.E.L.D., and he obviously doesn't know much, him being new to S.H.I.E.L.D., and so he wants, when these people get there to tour the base, he wants Phil to play tour guide. So next we go to Robbie Reyes. He's getting to work at the auto shop, and when he gets there, or obviously Skye follows him there, or Daisy follows him there, and when he gets there, her van is parked there throughout the day. He notices it, of course, and you know, he's kind of nervous, not sure why she's there, but he's just going about his day. Going back to Mac, Fitz, and Simmons, Fitz and Simmons are given a lot of different scientific reasons, you know, explanations as to what this lady is. Mac, of course, is like, maybe it's just a ghost. But one thing they do find out is that the case came from, who's right there? Oh, Lord. I don't remember the name of don't remember the name of the chemical place. But anyway, so basically they're about to leave to go there. Simmons, of course, has to stay behind for the director when these people who are getting a tour of the base show up. So she can't go, so it's just Mac and Fitz. So we go back to the auto shop where Robbie is. The van, Daisy's van is still parked on the street next to the auto shop, and then Robbie, he picks up a wrench or a tire iron, and he walks over to the van, opens it up, ready to attack. No one's in there. He walks back in, and Daisy's talking to one of his like a supervisor, I guess, maybe, about her van, and you know, she's dropping a lot of for Robbie's benefit, of course, saying how her van just caught on fire. Obviously, Robbie being Ghost Rider, things like that. So they have a little back and forth. Obviously, they know who each other are, and Daisy's just trying to get a feel. because she looked into the people he killed and found out that these weren't good people. Confirming what he was saying was just vengeance. And so she mentions his brother Gabe. At this point, the supervisor says he has to make a run. Robbie picks up a wrench. After the Sparrow leaves, and him and Sky have a fight. But Sky, of course, still injured. Daisy, still injured. No condition to fight him, and gets knocked out. So there's a very interesting part of the episode. May runs into Piper, one of the members of her task force, and tells her to get everyone ready in 10 minutes for training. And Piper says, yes, ma'am, which May doesn't like to be called ma'am. So Piper's like, what should I call you? Should I call you Commander? Should I call you Sir? He said, May. And then Piper says, I can do May. And so it's funny because the way Piper looks in the show with the short haircut, she's very not masculine looking, but she has that kind of a presence about her. It looks like they're trying to insinuate something there. But anyways, it was a funny moment. May walks away smiling. So, but we can tell that as the people walk through on the tour right after this, Field, of course, is doing his best tour guide. The new directors talking about Peggy Carter and things like that. Of course, Field knows the exact date the base was built. And but as they walk past, I guess they're senators. As they walk past, the last two May sees the face like that. So she goes to one of the Chinese, the boss for the previous episode. They're in the containment units, and they're talking together, and May says she sees what he's been seeing, and she feels that everyone's in danger. The guy, he starts going crazy and banging his head on the window or the door of the containment unit. Simmons has to come in and knock him out with some tranquilizer gas. Of course, May is not there when Simmons turns back around, so another big point in this episode was the female ghost from the first episode. She goes to the same place that Fitz and Mac were on their way to, and she gets there and she opens up another identical containment unit, and another ghost comes out, and it's a guy. They know each other. He doesn't know that it's been years. He feels that it's only been hours. But basically there's a person who did this to them. Which is why I'm doing the quotation marks, because it's not confirmed that they're ghosts yet. We don't know what they are. It could be. We just don't know yet. So yeah, they're looking to get revenge on someone. And then we go back to Daisy and Robbie, who he has Daisy tied to the chair, and he's looking through all this stuff in her van because he wants to see if she deserves to die, like she said in the first episode, because Daisy knows who he is, so it's a problem for him, and so he doesn't want to kill Daisy if she's an innocent person. So he's looking to see if he can find some dirt on her that would justify him killing her. And he mentions how he knows Daisy wants to die, things like that. And he finds a picture of Lincoln, and he's mentioning how Daisy's broken up about the people who have died, and that she feels she has caused, and he mentions that he doesn't feel any of that. So basically we're just going and we're seeing that they're like parallels yet opposites of each other at the moment. We don't know if this means Daisy's gonna turn out to be more like him, or Robbie's gonna turn out to be more like Daisy. And you get the sense that he can control the Ghost Rider part of him, because when he talked about the fact that, you know, he didn't kill Daisy, he specifically says, "I didn't kill you." So, you know, at the very least, he knows what he's doing, and he has some control over his actions. We don't know if that's the case, but just going from that, that's what I would like to assume. Could be completely different, but I'm pretty sure they'll basically let us know whether or not he can or cannot control it in the future. But from there, we see Fitz and Mac arriving at and before that, actually, before they arrive, we cut back, and now there are multiple ghosts. There are 4 of them. 3 guys and the lady that we met, and one of them, he's unable to speak. He's very upset. He wants to know what the plan is. They're going to find this person, and obviously there's some trust issues. They don't necessarily trust her. Apparently they were working on something there, and another person betrayed them, and there's some kind of book that she had, and it was supposed to give her some kind of power or knowledge or something like that. So they're gonna take the cases, and they're gonna leave the place, and the one guy wants to burn to the ground. So that's that she doesn't control him anymore. He's gonna do what he wants to do. Shortly after this, Fitz and Mac arrives, and Mac still has a shotgun axe. He uses the axe part to cut off the lock to the door. They go in, there's like a huge reactors there, and Fitz is on the computer. But we're talking, and the ghost appears behind Fitz. So there's a scene, of course, they can't let the ghost touch him, and during this fight, we go back to Daisy and Robbie, and Daisy's mentioning how the skinheads that were killed or attacked in the first and killed in the first episode, they were working for the Watchdogs with the Chinese. And she mentions the name of the chemical place, which I really do wish I could remember. I'm pretty sure it starts with an M. Momentum, I believe. Energy Lab. Yeah, Momentum is what I'm thinking. But so Sky mentions this place, and Robbie, you can tell he knows what she's talking about, and so he leaves. But he leaves the room. Sky uses her powers to break out, but it immediately hurts her, and so this is like obviously something they're continuing to go with. She jumps on top of his car, but gets thrown off. Robbie's headed to Momentum. Meanwhile, back at the place, Mac gets thrown into the containment reactor or whatever in the middle of the room, and Fitz is outside. He's trying to tell the guy that they can help him, which the guy says he can't. And he set, a meltdown overload, so the place is gonna blow. So the guy is reaching for Fitz, about to touch him, when on the arm you see this gloved hand, and it's Robbie. And the ghost is confused. He's like, how was he able to grab me? Robbie turns into Ghost Rider. Fitz sees this. Max sees it. They're not, they have no idea what they're saying, and Fitz goes to try to get Mac out of the containment unit, which they have like a little comical moment where Max says he wishes their situations were reversed, so he feels he'd be able to open it up. Then at this point, Sky comes in, Daisy comes in, and she's able to use her powers to get Mac out. And of course, it's the first time they've seen Daisy in a long time. In Ghost Rider, in his Ghost Rider form, kills the ghost, and then he leaves. So Daisy, Mac, and Fitz, they have, they're back on the Quinjet. They put a splint on her arm, Mac's trying to get her to come back and saying they have some medicine that'll help her bones heal, but the supply keeps getting low, and that's when it all hits him that Sky's been stealing, that Yo-Yo has been stealing the supply for Daisy. And Mac gets very emotional, as he would, and saying that they've been trying so hard to find her, to protect her, to bring her home, but she's, not giving them a chance. And he's asked why, and Fitz, he has an outburst saying that because she's turned her back on them. Something very bad happened, and she went through a loss, but instead of, letting the team help, she turned her back on them. And he also mentions that everyone's going through something at this point, but they've always stuck together. So, Daisy thanks him for the splint and leaves. Now, back at the base, Megan's going crazy. She's at the locker room. Simmons informed Phil there was an issue, and I'm just going to call the Coulsons what we all know him as. So he goes to the locker room, Megan, and she's taking everything out of the locker, saying she's going to find him. She's not going to let anyone hurt her team. And then Phil says, you know what, we have everyone's blood samples on file. Let's go to the lab and see if anyone's blood has changed. So she walks out, and she sees her task force there. And well, she gets suspicious, and she proceeds to beat up everybody. Phil, Piper, the rest of them. But the biggest reveal of the episode, in my opinion, the director gets there and punches him in the stomach a few times. No, he's not fazed by it. Okay, that's weird. And then May calls him a monster and says, I prefer the term inhuman. So we found out he's inhuman. He has strength. He's able to knock May out. And he makes a joke about, too bad we couldn't put this on the tour. So the Senators leave, and he says he's about to take care of May, but he's not going to tell Phil or Coulson about what his plan is, because he says Coulson's not objective when it comes to Daisy and May and the rest of his team. And you can tell Phil's not happy with this arrangement and the fact that everything is classified now how S.H.I.E.L.D. was. Daisy goes back to her van, which won't start. She gets out of the van, and Robbie pulls up, and he says that he feels that the connection between everything is because of him, and she hops in the car and they drive off. Then we see May on the Quinjet, and she's saying, get away from me. It's real sad to see May like this, but that's that. Check my notes here to see if I have missed anything. Make sure I covered everything here. Alright, yeah, so that's everything with the episode, and so yeah, I mean, again, I think they're keeping steady pace with the previous episode. We got to see Ghost Rider as Ghost Rider again. You can tell that they really want to not hold back with the fact that Ghost Rider is part of this season. I mean, it's called Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider, for crying out loud, in the promo. So, I feel that he's definitely going to be a big part of the series, or the season, at least up until the mid-season break. S.H.I.E.L.D's always had 2 plot points at the very least since season 2. So, you know, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a big change. But, you know, they could switch it up, but I doubt it. It's been working so far. You know, again, there are more ghosts, so that's interesting. Although one of them was killed, and they're looking for revenge on someone. And the new director of S.H.I.E.L.D. is an Inhuman. Oh, that's what I didn't mention. Coulson mentions that since the Sokovia Accords and the fact that Captain America has gone AWOL, he decided that he should step down as director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and that someone who is enhanced should be the director, as you know, to take Captain America's place. And then they picked the director, and so which I thought was very interesting. The fact he's Inhuman was very, very interesting, and you know, just very like weird with the Sokovia Accords, and you know, but I guess I'll see as you know how he's going to handle Daisy. Obviously, that's going to go down soon, so looking forward to that. But give this episode an A+. I really enjoyed it. Can't wait for more. But that's it for this you know, review of season 4, episode 2, Meet the New Boss, and so there's that for my last single Tuesday video, because starting next Tuesday, Flash is coming back. So on Tuesdays, I will have Flash and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Monday, I know for sure is going to be Gotham and Conviction. I'm honestly not sure when Supergirl's coming back, if it's going to be on Monday still. But then, of course, next Wednesday, or tomorrow, I have Blind Spot and Designated Survivor. And then next Wednesday, Arrow, Blind Spot, and Designated Survivor. So that's going to be interesting, especially with Arrow and Designated Survivor being on at the same time, having to do videos for each. So I'm really going to have to you know, make best of my time. I might push the video for Designated Survivor to Thursday, because on Thursday currently the only show I'm going to have is Legends of Tomorrow. So next week I might push my Designated Survivor video to Thursday. That way it'll just be easier to manage my time with work and, you know, other recreational things like video games to do, which I do have to start doing video game videos for the channel, which I probably will dedicate my weekends to starting this weekend. So thinking about doing Black Desert Online playthrough. It's my first time playing the game, so I'd like you guys to come along with me on that. But yeah, and you know, I have a capture card, but I can't do my actual voice. Well, I can do a voice over it. Rise of Iron just came out, and you know, trying to get my way up to my light level. I'm at 348 now, or 347, one of those two. But yeah, so that's that for tonight, guys. I really appreciate you joining me here. Please drop a like, click that thumbs up below the video over here. Click that subscribe button over here below the video. Really help out my channel. I really appreciate it. If you have any suggestions or anything you want to say to me, you can leave it in the comments below the video. But that is that for tonight, guys. Simplic out. Catch you later. Peace.